Good evening to you all, and thank you for joining us here on Rwanda Television News tonight. We do hope you had yourselves a productive Thursday. Now here's a sneak peek of our edition. President Paul Kagame attended the swearing-in ceremony of President Denis Sassou Nguesso of the Republic of the Congo, who is set to lead the country for a fifth term after winning the election with over 94% of the vote. The Ministry of Trade and Industry has reassured Rwandans that there will be no shortage of goods on the domestic market, including petroleum products, although prices are expected to continue rising due to insecurity along supply routes. We are glad to have your company tonight, coming to you straight from the heart of Africa, Kigali. My name is Martina Abera. President of the Republic, Paul Kagame, attended the swearing-in ceremony of President Denis Sassou Nguesso of the Republic of the Congo, who is set to lead the country for a fifth term after winning the election with over 94% of the vote. At the Unity Stadium located in the Kinele area of the city of Brazzaville, President Paul Kagame, along with other heads of state and government, attended the inauguration ceremony of President Denis Sassou Nguesso, who was elected to lead the Republic of the Congo in elections held in March this year. Before the citizens of the Republic of the Congo, President Denis Sassou Nguesso took an oath to uphold the country's constitution, faithfully fulfill the responsibilities entrusted to him by the people, safeguard national unity, and protect the country's sovereignty, among other commitments. In his speech after taking the oath, he thanked the citizens who overwhelmingly voted for him in elections conducted in a transparent and peaceful manner, and promised to lead them toward sustainable and rapid development. Among the priorities he highlighted for his term are improving access to water and electricity and modernizing cities. Rwanda and the Republic of the Congo are friendly nations with strong diplomatic ties, and they have signed 33 cooperation agreements in areas such as trade, security, culture, and sports. President Kagame arrived in Brazzaville on Wednesday, where he was received by senior officials of the country. He later held talks with President Denis Sassou Nguesso, focusing on strengthening the existing cooperation between Rwanda and the Republic of the Congo. The President of the Supreme Court, Domitille Mukanaganzwa, urged leaders of insurance companies in Rwanda to adopt mediation as a method of resolving disputes, noting that it is a national policy aimed at settling conflicts without relying on courts. She made these remarks during discussions between the Supreme Court and representatives of insurance companies operating in Rwanda. The meeting aimed to explore how these companies could contribute to reducing the number of court cases related to insurance contracts. An analysis of some cases brought before the Supreme Court, particularly those related to agreements between insurance companies and their partners, shows that some of them could have been resolved through mediation. Currently, there are 892 insurance-related cases pending across various courts. Most of these involve Radiant Insurance Company, which mainly insures motorcycles. Chief Justice Domitille Mukanaganzwa emphasized that first and foremost, the terms of contracts between both parties should always be respected, including the laws governing compensation, without one side imposing its own wishes. She also noted that strengthening mediation in disputes related to insurance contracts would yield faster and more effective results. For over 3 years now, Rwanda's justice sector has implemented a policy of resolving disputes outside the courts with the aim of delivering timely and fair justice to citizens. The Supreme Court reports that this policy has already produced positive results, both in promoting amicable settlements and in reducing case backloads in courts. The Ministry of Trade and Industry has reassured Rwandans that there will be no shortage of goods on the domestic market, including petroleum products, although prices are expected to continue rising due to insecurity along supply routes. We have more coming from Adam Squizera.
Au cœur de la nuit.
For the past 1.5 months, Israel and the United States have been carrying out strikes on Iran. The effects of this conflict have been felt globally, including Rwanda. Logistics service providers involved in imports and exports industry say transport costs have risen, insurance premiums have also increased, and delivery times have significantly affected as well.
Shipments and vessels and containers are being delayed so much. When you look at the numbers, at least we've added like 15 days extra in transit. And then also because of the security, insurance premium has also gone up because vessels are also looking at the risks where they are passing. So all that is affecting the industry in terms of hiking the prices. The prices have gone up. Transportation prices have gone up because of the impact of fuel going up. In particular, in Rwanda, we have been using Dubai as a route so much because of the many aircrafts available to connect to further destinations, what we call the interline. So we pick cargo from here, and we cannot maybe send it to Canada, but then through Dubai, we're able to send shipments to further destinations all over the world. So this is not possible. So what does that mean? It means customers are stuck. It means we are also stuck. We have what to send out, but we can't find a way of sending it out. And whatever also ways we find to send out cargo, it is very expensive. So when you look at the cost now to bring in a container from Mombasa and Dar es Salaam, it has increased so much.
Starting April 15th, Rwanda resumed flights to Dubai. The Minister of Trade and Industry, Prudence Sebahizi, says Rwanda is also exploring alternative routes for its imports and exports to reach different markets.
Have diversified the export markets. Some of the products which were destined to Middle East have been sent to Europe and other markets, and others have been sold to the local market. We have worked with Rwanda to explore different routes because the route of Dubai has been closed for some time. We have been exploring alternative routes via Muscat in Oman to see if the flight that takes cargo to Middle East does not stop. And fortunately, this is good news to all exporters to the Middle East. Since yesterday, the 15th of April, Rwanda has resumed their cargo to Dubai, to Middle East, and is going to operate every 2 days, which means that the problem is half solved. But we have established alternative routes via Muscat and the other one via Djibouti, which can also be explored in case one of the routes has got problems.
Many traders who import goods such as construction materials and petroleum-based chemicals used in plastics manufacturing from Middle East say they are already facing challenges.
Because of the issues in the Middle East, most of the suppliers or the providers of services, they actually decided to increase their price, even if it was not affecting them. You know, it just suffices for any small tension, and this thing blows out of proportion. You know, so the transporting. You understand that Rwanda is a landlocked country, and most of their goods have to come through Tanzania or Kenya. So those guys also transporting from Tanzania to Kenya also increase their price. So, and that price has to either be shouldered by us as a company or pass it down to the clients. So we'll try as much as possible that we can shoulder a little bit, but of course we cannot stomach all. We have to pass some of the to the clans, you know.
Minister Prudence Sebahizi noted that price increases are likely to continue, but emphasized that the government is working to ensure that there is no shortage of goods in general, especially petroleum products.
We have worked with the private sector. We have not seen shortage of fuel supply in the country, so we continue to have fuel availability despite the increase in prices. We have continued to see the supply of fertilizers and other agricultural inputs which are very essential for any economy. We have continuously seen the supply of medicines. We have never felt any shortage of medicine in all hospitals. We have never seen any shortage of construction materials on all ongoing ongoing projects. So this is something that I feel confident that the private sector working with the government has successfully achieved results. What we have to prevent now, or what we have to watch in the coming days is the increase of prices, because the source of products, looking at the international market, the cost of products from the source is much higher than the price of products on our market. So which means that the products that are coming in now are going to be more expensive than those that we have been using over the past couple of months.
20% of
The war in Iran led to closure of Strait of Hormuz, a route through which about 20% of the world's petroleum supply.
The organization that supports farmers, 1 Acre Fund, has urged its employees to further preserve the country's history, especially by avoiding genocide ideology and those who deny the genocide against the Tutsi. This was highlighted during an event marking the 32nd commemoration of the genocide against the Tutsi. The event began with a visit to the Kigali Genocide Memorial at Gisozi, where participants laid wreaths on the mass graves where victims of the genocide against the Tutsi are buried. Employees of 1 Acre Fund said that visiting the memorial is an important opportunity to learn about history and better understand it.
I think coming to the Kigali Genocide Memorial, particularly during the commemoration period of the genocide against the Tutsi in Rwanda, is really important for us as international employees of 1 Acre Fund to come and see and to understand the atrocities that happened here in '94, and also to stand with our colleagues as we commemorate the people who were lost, the victims of the genocide in '94, but also to stand with our colleagues who are survivors. I think it's very important for the youth of today to make sure that they remember, and that they remember so that they can rebuild a country, or continue to rebuild a country that can never support atrocities like this to happen again.
The 1 Acre Fund CEO Giza Belinda stated that building the country is everyone's responsibility and that all people should preserve history in order to build a better future.
Through this remembrance, commemoration keeps alive our collective responsibility. Never again is a commitment. It's a commitment that must be renewed in how we think, in how we act, and how we show up in our communities every single day. That responsibility becomes even more urgent in a region where division and harmful ideologies still threaten progress. In this context, unity is not optional, it's very essential. It is how we protect what we have built. It's how we resist forces that seek to take us backward. It begins with each one of us. in our daily choices, in how we treat one another, and in how we stand firm in our shared values. It is in the care that we bring to our work, knowing that rebuilding a nation is not done by grand gestures alone, but in daily, deliberate acts of service. In committing to excellence in our individual capacities, we contribute to something far greater than ourselves, the continued renewal of our country. And so today, we remember, we stand together, and we renew our promise to serve with purpose, to uphold our shared humanity, and to ensure that the future we're building is worthy of the lives that we honor.
Staff of non-profit organization Direct Aid have visited the Kigali Genocide Memorial at Gisozi and pledged to continue fighting genocide ideology and promoting humanity. The country director of the organization says that through the education activities they carry out, they will continue teaching young people to guard themselves against genocide ideologies.
We come here with the deep humility and the sadness, sorrow, to honor the memory of the victims of 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. As Direct Aid, we come here to stand solidarity with the people of this nation, remembering the lives of the people who lost. Okay, for us, this visit is more than. Today is not just a visit, it is more than a visit, it is the commitment to support healing and to stand for unity for the country and to support the people who lose in these occasions. It is very painful and we are very sad for the situation that happened in Rwanda here in 1994. And as Direct Aid, we are supporting we are very solid and we consolidate with the country and the situation that happened during in 1994. As Direct Aid, we have a plan to visit the Narugenji district and to see with the district how can we support the survivors of the genocide. So this is our plan. We will arrange it within these coming days. Through our centers and our schools, we try to explain how it is dangerous and how it affected the country, and we support through our schools that we should deny hatred, because even it's not good for us as a humanity is not good. And we try to support the solidarity and the cooperation between all the Rwandese here. So our schools also, we sent our message for all students. So at least we have a very peaceful country, and this not to have it again. This is our target.
In addition to visiting the memorial, the organization also plans to support survivors of the genocide against the Tutsi in Nyarugenge district. As more young people turn to the stock market in search of financial growth, one key question continues to stand out: where do you begin and how do you begin right? In this exclusive interview, William Evans Mutabazi sits down with a market expert to break down what starting small really means, from investing modest amounts and consistently growing your portfolio to investing dividends and embracing diversification as a long-term strategy.
Specifically for beginners, of course, the encouragement is usually to begin small. And when you say begin small, what exactly are you telling them? Are you telling them to begin small in terms of how much they invest, or to begin small in terms of expectations of making money as quickly as possible?
I would say for both, actually. So starting small in terms of amount to invest, you can start with as little as 17,000. So if you can invest in MTN, you can invest in I&M, but also expectations. So a lot of people go in with the mentality of they want capital growth, or they want dividend stocks. So I would say it's good to have these expectations, but also you have to keep an open mind that sometimes these companies will not be able to get the profit that they thought they would get. So I would say start small in terms of expectations, but also expecting to grow. Start with a mentality of growth. So you're growing your capital. So every time you get small amounts of money, you can always invest in these stocks. You can always come and add. You can always reinvest your dividends, which is also a good way to diversify. So the one secret I would always encourage investors, whether you're starting, whether you've been in this for some time, would be diversification. So make sure you're not keeping all your eggs in one basket.
Are there some what we would call psychological or even sort of emotional mistakes as a young investor that you can easily make, that probably, or that you made, that a young investor may not really make if you told them, I made A, B, C, D, or usually we make A, B, C, D, psychological, emotional mistakes when joining the stock market?
Psychological, maybe not so much, but emotionally, yes. So one of the mistakes that we have seen, and it's over time as well, is that people are just following the crowd, following peer pressure. So they're not making informed decisions. I'll give you an example, right? So when MTN, before it became MTN, it was Crystal Telecom. So in 2011, so many people invested, because that's when the stock exchange was starting as well. Crystal Telecom was listed, people bought the stock. So in 2020, MTN took over and bought over Crystal Telecom, but the stock dropped. And when people came to sell, there was so much supply and there was little to none demand. And people were like, I don't understand what this is. If I had invested this amount of money in this investment, I would have gotten like twice more than what I'm getting. And they don't understand that the risks of the stocks is basically capital loss. So it all depends on the company that you have invested in. So is the operations that they're doing more than the revenue that they're getting, the income that they're getting? So without making these informed decisions, you're most likely going to have that emotional scar, could I say? Yeah.
And that marks the end of our bulletin tonight. On behalf of the news production team as well as the technical team, thank you for sticking with us. And on that note, until next time, stay safe and have a good night.